Ready. Good evening and welcome to another, Navigating Life series of webinars. The Navigating Life sessions are an outreach program of the St. Andrew Church of Christ. The St. Andrew Church of Christ meets at 77 Redditch Road in Kingston, Jamaica. And these live casts are actually recorded and are available online through our website, St. Andrew Church of Christ.org/media, or on YouTube, Simply Christians with the S, Simply Christians JA, or on Facebook, Simply Christians JA. Right up front, I'd like to invite you to join us for our worship service on Sunday at 9 a.m. But immediately after that, we have our Bible study, and we have across all ages a range of Bible study sessions. And on Tuesdays, we have our midweek Bible class. It's available on this very same Zoom link and also on YouTube. So we live stream our sessions there. Today, we are going to be dealing with the whole issue of making a meaningful contribution amidst the hustle, balancing purpose and business, right? We'll get there in a minute, but let me ask you a favor. If you could just bow with me, let us have a word of prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for continued blessings in our lives. We thank you, Lord God, that you provide guidance for us as to how we should navigate through life. You provide us with the scriptures, which really provide clarity as to how it is that we should lead our lives to be pleasing in your sight. And so, Lord, we again thank you that you have provided St. Andrew Church of Christ with this avenue to impact lives, to help people to be able to navigate their day-to-day living, not just following, obeying your commands, and putting on Christ in baptism and being prepared for the eternal life, but also how do we navigate this life. And so this session helps us to have a clearer grasp as to some of the things that we can do to have meaning, more meaning in our lives. Many of us have the issue as to, am I fulfilling my purpose? Why am I here? What is it that I'm supposed to do? Well, some of these matters, we can discuss all of that in one session, but some of those issues will be helped, Lord. And so we just ask that you would provide me with guidance as I facilitate this as a lead facilitator along with Brother Andre, and that you would have open minds. Pray all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So let me just do a quick thing here to indicate who your facilitators are. I am Trevor E.S. Smith, and with me is our counseling psychologist, Brother Andre Allen Casey, who is well known in terms of providing guidance formally, commercially, and on our platform as well. He's also the person who leads our grief therapy session, which is the last Saturday. So the first Saturday is Navigating Life, and the last Saturday of the month is grief therapy session. And it's the same link, same Zoom link. All right. So, right, somebody's saying chat. Okay, thanks, Jerry. Okay, so Brother Andre, you have anything that you want to say?
No, just waiting and listening. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Yikes. Yeah.
I'm hearing you.
Not hearing me.
I am hearing you.
Okay. I'm just ready, waiting, listening, ready to learn.
So let's go. We ready to go? So how do we make a meaningful contribution amidst the hustle? You know, just had some discussions about time, not having enough time to do what it is that we need to do. So how can we even entertain the idea of talking about adding meaning when things are so hectic? We're so overrun already. Where would we ever find the time to deal with anything else? So, first of all, then we want to look at the myth of time constraints. And like most of us, you may have held the common belief that making meaningful contribution requires a whole lot of time. There's no way that I can add meaning to my life because it just going to take up too much time. I just don't have the time. I tell you I want to, but I can't find the time. Yeah, but I want to spend some time with you. And by the way, I want to suggest that you get a piece of paper and a pen from right now, or maybe some of you can use your smartphone. But this is a working webinar, right? And you will see in a while. All right. So I want to challenge that idea. And it may be that this idea that we don't have enough time is something in our head, and that it's not a real constraint. Yes. So I know I hear you, even though you haven't said it, that it is nonsense what I'm saying, because you do have these time constraints already. Right? So here's a question that we have, is that have you ever felt like there is just enough time, just not enough time in the day? Anybody? As I said here, this is a working interactive seminar, webinar, so I expect to hear feedback. You can type in the chat, or you can just come on mic and say, duh, no. Yeah, that is just not enough hours in the day. JGC, sorry, it says true. All right. Yeah, so that's not unusual for people to feel this way. All right. But our sense of time can also be influenced by what we see around us, what people expect of us. Yeah. So we are expected to do these things, and the comparison with others, all sorts of things. You see what's happening around you, and you're saying to yourself, but how come, we see somebody get an award, or we see somebody, get some news about another certification or something, a promotion, and we are saying to ourselves, whoa, I'm not making enough use of my time. Yeah? So that's it. However, studies show that we tend to overestimate how busy we are and underestimate the time available for things that truly matter. Let me say that again, that there are studies, and I have my own evidence, which I will share in a minute, that suggests that we tend to overestimate how busy we are, how much we have on our table, and underestimate how much time we have available to do the things that really matter. So maybe time is not the enemy after all. So here we go. I warned you that I'm going to give you some work to do. So here's a little work. And I don't know how many years now, when I do time and task management with groups, I challenge them, and I'm going to throw the challenge out to you. I'm saying to you that there are 7 days in a week, hopefully. And whether disagrees with that, because it's a contentious thing, so I want to clear step by step, line by line, which ones you disagree with. So there are 7 days, agree? Yes. There are 24 hours. Yes. So there are 168. My math is right. 7 4 is 28, 7 2 is 14, and 2 is 16, 168 hours every week. Now the normal work week, normal, and everybody gives extra time, but normal work week is 40 hours. So that's a shift, right? So that means that we have 4 shifts, 4 times 40, 160, and a normal work day is 8 hours. So it means that every single week of life, we have 4 work shifts, plus we have an extra day. So if you want to do a day's work, you have the extra day. So you could work 4 jobs. Hold on. You could work 4 jobs and do a day's work. 4 jobs and a day's work. All right. So here are some things that we could use our 168 hours to do. And so far, nobody has ever been able to justify. You see that last shift, not last shift. Well, yeah, the last shift, that 40 hours. I can't see a justification. And definitely not the extra day. Right? So I would like a volunteer to just run the numbers, because editor, we have somebody who can calculate. Come on, Mike, please, and just tell me how you use the hours, how many hours you sleep, how much time you spend on the job. When eat and necessities, there is meals and bathe and clean teeth and that kind of stuff. If you have to commute, what is it? And notice the leisure and health is there. So what part of what you do is watch TV, then that's fine as well. Go to the gym, all of that. Study, yeah, whether it is school study or Bible study, family, time you spend with your family, church, school, community, work with the environment, investment, spend time investing, I don't know what else. But yeah, it's hard to pick on people, but I'd love for somebody online to take on the challenge and just tell me what you do, right? And I have a very busy friend online, somebody that is overseas, working many jobs and studying, etc. Well, I think she would have a great chance of actually using up the time. But I can't put her on the spot, but hopefully she knows what I'm talking about. And we'll come and open up her mic and give it a crack. Anybody? No takers? All right. Who can keep score then? Somebody keep score? And then we just kind of do it jointly then. Can I get a volunteer then with somebody with a calculator to just keep the score? Yes? Who can keep the score for me? And then we just call out numbers and we see how much we get. I'm going with somebody. Sister Raquel, you are there? You can mic up, or you can just keep the score. Or Sharon is person at work with data.
What is it, Brother Smith? Evening,
Sister
everybody.
Sharon, you are hearing me?
Can you hear
No.
me?
Hello? Man.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, Raquel. No, I can't hardly hear you. Go again. Okay, good. All right, so you keep the score then.
Okay.
All right. All right. So the healthy thing is to have 7 hours sleep, right? So let us put that. Most people don't get that, but so 7 hours sleep. Work. We know that in order to progress, you can't just work the 40 hours. So we'll work an extra hour a day or so. So let's 45 hours. Is that reasonable? If anybody disagree, we can stop. Right? And by the way, if you happen to be putting in 2 shifts, because you want to make progress, that's a choice. That's a choice, right? So because what we're talking about is how are you using your 168 hours? So you could actually give your employers an extra 8 hours a day, or you can use it and spend it with your family, or you can use it and study, right? So it's a choice. So let us give you the 45. All right, so where we reach so far now?
$45.17.
Huh? No, it's
45.7.
no, it's 7 per day. So it's 49. 7 hours a day. So it's a week, right? So it's 49 and 45. That will like 94 then. Yes?
94, yeah.
My accounting,
Yes.
okay.
94.
All right. All right. I don't know how long it takes to bathe and eat and all of that. An hour a day? Or 2 hours then? All right, 2 hours a day at 14. All right. And then commuting. Again, this is a choice. You could decide that you're living in Montego Bay and you want to commute to Kingston. That's a choice. You could probably find a job closer to you, etc. But it's a choice. All right. So what are we saying now with traffic and so on? 2 hours a day for the 5 days. So that's 10 hours. 10 hours for the week. Where are we reaching now, Raquel?
10 hours for the week.
10 hours for the week. Commute.
So we're at 118.
Okay. Leisure and health. Well, that's exercise and just hang out, whatever. How many hours? So we could have couch potato. 2 hours a day, 14 more. You know that,
132.
you know that we go so far. Okay. All right. What else now? Some of the other things on the bottom. How much at that time we're going to spend? Really? We say we spend in the family, but is it before the TV? Are we adding the 2 differently or not? Church, how many hours? 3 hours for the week? How many times we do something for the community? 3 times a year, 2 times a year, right? So yeah, are we up into the 168 or anywhere near there?
No, we're not there yet.
That's a question that we have to ask then is, how long would it take for us to do something meaningful? And we're going to look at a list. We're going to ask you as well to participate in the list. But just know, just talking, how long would it take us to send a message or call somebody that is ill, or, even visit somebody who is ill? I know, and it's not every week or every day you're going to go. So that's this other thing that you have to look at to see how much time do we need in order to do something meaningful. So we see the issue there is we are well rested, we sleep, we do a full job, give the employer extra time, take our time and eat properly. We're not in the rush thing where we're, eating and working and whatever it is, I've given you enough time at that. I'm saying that, okay, fine, you live in a bad area and traffic kill you, so your commuting time is there. And yet still, we can see we have hours available. So the idea that we don't have enough time is not valid, right? Can we kind of half agree on that? I'm not finished with the proof yet. I'm going to go further. And so I want us to rethink. Thanks, Raquel. I appreciate it. I want to rethink this whole issue of time then. And it's if we look at management of the time, that is really, really key. It's not, okay, thanks. The key is about effective time management. How do we use our time? All right. So it's not about having more time. It's about making most of the time that we have. But how can we do that? So you're going to work with me tonight to find out how we can do some of that. And really and truly, it comes down to assessing and prioritizing our tasks. What is it that we really want to do? What are our priorities? Right? And then how do we make space for our priorities? That's the key. Yeah. All right. So here's the other part of the work. I didn't see anybody jumping. And, we're going to start now because this is your time, really. What I want to do is to think about people who have used their 4 shifts on a day well, that you can just respect and say, my gosh, but I don't know how to do it. I really have to take my hat off to them. So just for the next little while, just please, either in the chat or on mic, just tell me somebody who you think have done very well, managed their time very well. I can tell you one right off, start the ball rolling. I'm just thinking about Delia Harris, for example, who, believe me, it does so many things. She's writing TV screenplays, and she's on radio. And she is, I think, she owns one of the beauty contests, and just very, very present, in terms of getting things done. Then, of course, you have to think about people like the presidents and, world leaders that just would have so many things coming through. And some of them have family life as well. Yeah. But anybody's name that would come to you, you can type in the chat, as I said, or just Michael. Examples of people who have done well with their time, get things done, Anybody? I can't take a silent group. You have to go into the chat and call people's names. Any individual comes to mind. And I know I come to mind, but you don't have to call mine. Yeah, Father Grennell, definitely. Yeah, that's a lot. And the person who typed that here, Sister Fiona Meeks, seem to be studying and working. Maybe even if it's 2 jobs or whatever it is. Plus some volunteer work on the side, etc. So those are examples. But let us bring it back down to another level. Let us look at homemakers, people always say, well, and housewives and so on. Have a lot, it's not out in the public, etc. But there are a lot of moving parts, and you have to pull it together, make it happen, right? So that request really is to have you to start to think that there are people that are getting a lot done, and somehow they find a way to get it done. And they have the same 168 hours that we have, same amount of time every week. And so the question then is, what about us? Why we can't actually get more done? Or I shouldn't say get more done, but get the key things that we want done. So it might actually be that we're getting less done in terms of quantity, but we are getting quality things done. All right. So how do we go about this? What is key here? The key issue is about mindset. All right? Mindset. It's all in the mind. Right? There's a statement that we do when we do our time and task management thing to say, well, if you think that you have enough time or you don't have enough time, you are right. All right? Because either way, you're going to have results that come from that. So if you don't think you have enough time, you're going to be always, shuffling around, trying to catch up this, etc., missing deadlines, right? But if you, so you would be right if you say, I don't have enough time, or I don't have control over my time. And if you say, yes, I have enough time, I just have to manage it, then you'll see that you would have a mindset to getting what you need done. Yeah. So I'm going to suggest that we shift our thinking, if you are thinking this way, that I don't have enough time, to I make time for what matters. I make time to get the things done that I want to get done, that needs to get done. So that shift in thinking could be transformative, could make a huge difference. So instead of seeing time as a constraint, what if we saw time as a resource that we can manage? It's just like water. It's like anything else. It's just a resource. Like a computer, we can use it. Yeah. That's the whole idea. So time is just there for us to use to get things done. And so a change in mindset then will redefine our own reality, that we will see life through a different lens, and we will be able to navigate life differently. And open up the door then for us to look at making meaningful contributions. I want to talk about that thing a little bit more again, though, this whole question of meaningful contributions. I don't know about you, but many persons that we talk to, for me, it's a constant question in my mind as to purpose. Am I doing? Am I, impacting lives? How am I using my time? Yes. I soon run out of it. We don't know when we're going to run out, but I definitely know that I'm at the other end of the time that I have available. And the question is, have I used it well? What is it that I should be doing? Or am I? So most of us want to have some meaning. Is that right? Would you agree with that? That this is a consideration? We don't want to just go through and people talk about what comes after the dash. We go into a lot of funerals or whatever. So you have start, 19, whatever, or 20, whatever it is, dash, and then a number there, What have we done with the time after the dash? That's a question. Yeah. So what then if we have time as a tool and not a restriction? What if when we're looking at our watch, yeah, it is in the context of setting the tone for what it is that we are about to do now, as against, and always me, look at where the time has gone and I have not done. What if we could be looking to say, okay, fine, I have X minutes, or God's willing, and then I can use it effectively. So we have been conditioned, this is part of the socialization, why a session like this is necessary. To feel as if we're in a rat race, we always have to be constantly racing against time, right? And so time really, is the enemy. Basically, that's the bottom line. It's, we talk about wasting time and but what if time is just a tool? Yeah. And when we manage it effectively, then we grow, then we impact lives, then we make contributions. So by using our time purposefully, sorry, we can have meaningful impact and make a difference in our daily work. So it's not about being constantly busy. Yeah. It's about making our time count. That's the key. Yeah. So we can actually have, talk about it when we're working with organizations, with companies, where you would say to a worker, for example, did you have a productive day today? Did you? And the worker would tell you how busy they were. Yes, man, I was very busy. But did that busyness move the organization closer to its goals? That's the question. What objectives did you meet in your business? And that's a question that we have to ask ourselves. So when we go home and we're dead beat, when we are come for that day, did it move us any closer to our goals? Did we have any impact in the way that we would want to? How did it impact our influence on others? Did we contribute anything to our community? Did we contribute anything to anybody's life? That's the real test when we sit down in our evening session, review our day. What impact did we have? Not whether we're tired or not, not whether we were very busy or not, but what did we achieve? I can tell you that from my experience, if anybody still tell you this is interactive, can identify with the fact that I have had many busy days, but then when I look back at the day, what did I really achieve? Did it move me forward in any way, or was I just busy? So when I talk about some solutions, always in these nav life things, we try to look at solutions. And when I talk about micro mindsets, some habits, some little things that we can do, that just something, well, you can call it triggers, little things that set us on the right path, right? And so they become part of your muscle memory because you do it as a habit. So let me use myself as an example. First thing I'm doing, there was a time when you get up and you start to look at your daily plan, what it is you want to do. Right now, I'm engaged in what I call a gratitude practice. So the first thing I'm saying is, I push my fingernail in my hand and I feel it, and I can say, okay, fine. I have this sense of feeling. Believe you me, that's important. Right? I can see, I can hear, I can smell, I can taste. So I have senses about me. I can think, I can walk. Those are some of the other things that we can look at to say, gratitude, thank you for this day. Feel the sun, thank you for that. So that's a practice. So what I'm saying is things like that. Or you could have a morning devotion. People like to do affirmations where you talk about things that you are working on achieving in your life. Or, some people have a reminder on their phones to say, well, this is something that you need to remember to do. Or it can just be a pause where you just sit down and just let whatever thoughts flow, right? Or it can be, again, after you do some of that, what is it? What kind of purpose you're going to have today? Who are you going to influence today? Who can you provide some inspiration for today? Yeah, reconnecting with old friends, reconnecting with maybe a teacher who had an impact in your life. Share the scriptures, read the scriptures, study the scriptures. All of those things can happen. So that's what I'm talking about, is setting up a sort of routine that it just happens, right? That you don't forget to do it. Yeah. And the things that we're talking about, putting it into practice, adds meaning to your life. If you are in a position where you can have gratitude for things, that's meaningful. That's meaningful. If you respect your maker and you have a connection to let him know that you appreciate his grace and his mercies, that's meaningful. I promise you. But I want to ask you, share some of the things. This session is going to be so much more useful if we can get input from others. I'm going to call on my brother Andre. I have to pull you.
Yes, sir.
Yes. some habits that just some things that would be a sort of trigger that come automatic, but it's adding meaning. It's giving a sense of purpose in your life. Yeah. Whether it is reaching out, whether it is studying, whether it is, just pausing to reflect on your life or whatever. I don't know if you have any more. Connecting with somebody, reaching out to somebody, praying for somebody.
Well, for me personally, like, I don't know, every blessed day, every blessed morning. I mean, the first thing I do, I'm just very thankful that I wake up. The first thing I do is thankful that I wake up. I have a habit. I said not only a habit, I have the same prayer. My prayer is, thank God that you give to me. Alrighty. Know that I'm going to execute my responsibilities. I pray that whatever I say or do is in keeping with your will for why you gave me life. And that's just a mantra for me over and over and over every blessed day. And so with that kind of mindset, it measures what I say and how I say and if I say, so I have that mindset to guide me in my interactions throughout the day.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. It's some purpose, something that adds meaning into your thing, and it just becomes a little habit. So it's not a big thing. Remember, what we're talking about here is meaningful contribution. And if your mind then, if you target your mind, you set up your mind to be in a particular space, in a particular way to use your day, in all likelihood, you're going to make some meaningful contribution. Yeah. So let us challenge this whole idea then of I'm too busy. Yeah. What if we can replace that with I choose how I spend my time? Yeah. So we have the 168 hours. We can choose how to use it. Yeah. Some people say, well, I want 10 hours sleep. Fine, a little slumber. I'm not going there. Okay, sorry. But you can choose the 10 hours, but it's a choice. It's a choice. Yeah. All right. So if we then understand that how we are using our time is a choice, then that mindset shift puts us in control of our schedules. So we need to determine then what it is that we do and how we do it. Yes, of course, you work. But bear in mind again, working, where you're working is an option, is a choice. Yeah, how you going to eat food, etc. Right? But it's a choice. It's a choice. You can get fired and then what happens. So that's part of it. But I'm saying you can build that into it. When we looked at the 168, we put hours in there for work. Right? All right. So here are some ways to add value, make a meaningful contribution. One of them is visualization. And Miles talk about the theater of the mind, that there is scientific evidence, a lot of research to show that when we visualize things, and especially if we visualize it in really meaningful ways, what's going to happen is that it will impact our brain and make life easier for us to do it. So if we continue to picture, let us say, we say that we want to impact that, we want to help people, all right? And there's a neighbor's child that can't read, for example, and we are picturing ourselves in our day, how could we organize our week so that we can get 2 hours a week or with that child? And we sit down and we go through it in our minds, see ourselves going and talking to the parent, see ourselves sitting down with them, see ourselves actually delivering some of the training, and just visualize, be in that space. Then when it comes to execution, it's going to be easier. So that's what I'm saying. Just look at some of the things that, boy, if I had the time, I would do, and see yourself, create an environment in which it's happening. Maybe it's a dream, okay? So, oh boy, I wish I could help this person to do so and so. So dream about ways in which it could happen, and let us see. So it's not just carry theory thing, know that you dream about it and don't do it. But if you can create realistic images of it happening, then you will find that it will happen. So that's what I'm so suggesting. Just get yourself in that space where you see the running forward in this kind of way. That, oh my gosh, I really need to keep in touch with these people. This person is lonely, this person is alone, this person that needs so well in their health. I need to give them a call and see the day unfolding, see the impact of the call in this theater of the mind, this visualization practice. And then when the time comes, you will see that over time, it gets easier. You actually do it. Yeah. All right. Kind of sound crazy. The other thing, of course, is that we need to align our actions with our values. So let us say the meaningful contribution that we want to make is aligned with respect for God, is aligned with treating people with respect, is aligned with respecting the environment, is aligned with whatever it is that is meaningful to us. Yeah. Then make sure that whatever we do is lined up with that. And whatever we fail to do moves us away. And so we don't want that to happen. Yeah? So we should look at behaviors to say, is this action aligned with what it is that I say is my purpose in life? What it is that I say I hold dear in my life? What is it that I'm saying that I want to make a contribution in this way? Am I acting in a way that moves me closer to that? Or are my actions counter to what it is that I say I hold dear? Yeah. So if we are concerned about our community and let us say keeping the place clean and so on, because that's how we should live. Do I drive on the road and just throw garbage out of my car? That's what I'm talking about. It has to be holistic. It has to be a situation in which all our thoughts, all our deeds, all our words are aligned with what it is that we want to manifest in the world. I want to do this without some feedback, but I'm not pushing the envelope. I don't want anybody to drop off because I'm forcing them, but I'd really like to get some insights as to how people are seeing the things that we're sharing here. It was actually set up for that kind of application. So the visualization and the alignment with values are longer term, in the sense that if we keep in tune with our values, if we continuously see ourselves doing the right things at the right time, in the right way, and for the right reasons, then over time, we're going to see that we're making more and more contributions. We're going to find more and more time to do more and more meaningful things. So let us, initially, no, we might say, well, we're busy, we don't have time for that. But little by little, do some of the micro things, then take on a project or two, and then gradually, see yourself making a difference. See yourself getting so much more done. That's the key. All right. So I'm back again with my 168.
Trevor.
Yeah.
Smith.
Go ahead. Trevor, go ahead.
Can you make a comment?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. Yes, I'm agreeing with you. I'm finding the principles useful and good reminders. So one of the things I'm taking from it is that we have to pause and reflect on how we're navigating our lives. So you talk about visualization and so on. So as opposed to just being so busy and saying that we don't have enough time, it requires that we pause and assess and see and do all of those things that you talk about in terms of the micro habits and visualization and so on. And if I might share a story, it's a true story. When we worked together some years ago, I can't remember on what occasion you said it, but maybe it was a time and task course or so, and you're making a point that for persons on Saturdays, persons probably more than likely females spending a lot of time doing housework and taking care of the children and washing and whatever. And you made the point that we don't spend all day doing that stuff. We should spend some time doing something of value, something of adding value to yourself or to others. So you talk about making a plan to call somebody. How long does it take to do something meaningful? So even as as mothers and wives and women, and even persons who, some of the men too, we spend a lot of the time on Saturdays catching up with the housework, cooking, planning. One of the points that you have mentioned, which has stayed with me, is that we should also set aside some time on the Saturday while we're busy doing those things to add value or to gain value or knowledge to ourselves or to add value to somebody else, rather than spending the whole day cleaning and washing and so I think that's a good point that you could reiterate here as you're talking about trying to make good use of the time. And making good use of the time is using the time to do things that value the most or that are most important to us. So thank you for saying that years ago, and that is still relevant today.
Thank you for a good memory. No, thanks, I appreciate it. I'm going to say, I saw Sister Hobbs come up with her mic on. I'm not sure if she wanted to share, but it's not that point you make there. Okay. Look at this now, right? So we have been running NavLife for pre-COVID, right? So it's like an hour, 90 minutes, etc. But people don't come, right? Because they're busy. But there is a question as how busy are you that you can't find an hour to do things? I mean, Brother Andre, is a counselor in psychology. It comes and it gives you an hour and a half of his time free. Is that blowing bubbles, he's talking helpful stuff. And so the question is, how busy are we really? And should our busyness lead us in a path that doesn't, we don't get the time to develop? Here's a thought. When going on the same road that Raquel just led us down to. Just think about if you did an hour a day of something, anything you want to learn. If you want to do crochet, if you want to learn to knit, if you want to learn to cook something, you want to play an instrument, if you spend an hour a day, or maybe an hour a week, and over time, you're going to develop some competence in that area. I promise you, you're going to get skilled. After a year, 2 years, you'll be surprised to see. And so that's the question that we have to ask. When we look at our 168 hours, is there 2 hours, 3 hours? I mean, you can go to a course and attend a lecture and become a skilled person in a particular area. Yeah. So those are other things, but I'm just saying, in your own little space, you could actually develop high levels of competence over time, become even masters, experts in an area, if you were to focus. I wouldn't say an hour a day. I would say, for 2-3 hours per week, you could become really, really, really knowledgeable about any matter. You could have great skills. Just think of that. And so suppose we just took 3 out of the 168, there's still about 165. So it's a part of the day that, that extra day that we have a week, that's Saturday, or if it's sometimes Sunday for people, unfortunately. If you were to take 2 hours out of that and invest it in people, knowledge, invest it in yourself, and drawing closer to your family, maybe you have children, that's a good time to actually, not that they're doing this over there and you're doing over there and you think you're spending time with them, but in terms of meaningful connection, maybe deepening your relationship, with your spouse. That's what we're saying, those are meaningful things. And then, of course, I'm going to talk about other stuff in terms of impact that we can have across some other areas. But what am I saying? And I know we used to get the pushback all the time when we do time and task management is, so I have to live my life, talk about it. I can't plan every minute. Suppose I just want to come home and lie down on the couch and just relax after work. That's leisure. Here is the challenge that I push back on when I'm talking to people about it. I'm saying to them, whenever we're looking at the 168, treat the 168 in the same way that we treat the 40 hours that we're going to get a performance appraisal on. I'm going to say that about 2 different ways, 2 different times to get it clear. Treat the 168 in the same way that we treat the 40 hours that we're going to get a performance appraisal on. So we have to account for it, right? We can't just go and do the paperwork in a slapdash way. We have to account. People are going to say, are you doing it well? So you want to watch TV. What are you doing? Are you just sitting down before the set and the set is watching you or anything that comes out? Suppose you had to get a performance appraisal on your TV watching. What kind of score would you get? That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not saying this is just about work. Yes. If your leisure time, let us say you want to come and put on the couch, but you kind of catch up and you're not really comfortable in the chair, so you're not really resting properly. When you get up, you're still tired. If you were to do a performance appraisal on that, what kind of score would you get? Should you have, set up yourself properly? And rest well so that in the morning you're fresh. That's what we're saying. That's what I'm talking about. If you were to look at each aspect of what it is you're doing and doing it well, that's it. So we're not saying, you know, that it has to work. Look at the areas here. Yeah, you can actually do things in terms of enjoyment, but set it up properly. Set it up properly. Assume that you're going to get a performance appraisal about it, and you could justify and say, yeah, man, I did a good job. I really slept well. That's all right. That's fine. That's fine. Or, man, that was a great movie, or that was a great play, or whatever it is I'm doing. So that at the end, you know, you can look back at the hours and say, man, what a waste of time. You know, the time just passed and there's nothing. I don't feel satisfied. I don't feel empowered. I don't feel as if I have impacted lives. Those are some of the things that we have to consider. Yeah. Hope this is going there. So when we're talking here, we're not saying, boy, everybody have to be straight-laced and it's pure work and study. It's not, that's not where I'm not at that space at all. I'm in a rounded space where we have time, where we can reach out to our community. Look at that. We can reach out and do something with the environment. We can invest, we can spend time looking about our growth. Yeah. Spend time in the church, spend time studying. All right. So here are some options again. I just want to open up your mind. Please join, come online and talk to me or put in the chat. All right. So you can make a difference in a few minutes. Really. Yeah. So we have donations over here too. That's saying, so you might have some clothes, yeah, that they haven't worn, God knows when. You could actually decide that, okay, I'm going to take some clothes out of my cupboard and donate. Yeah. At St. Andrew, we have Darkest Day, where we actually give good clothes. Maybe we're not looking to tear up things or good clothes to people. So we have this day where we actually share. So that's something, again, that's you could look at. Don't take a lot of time to deal with that. Just put it in a bag. But if you want to go, you can actually get the Salvation Army as well. But St. Andrew put up your hand, you want it. All right. So little things can happen. And you can actually just have it interwoven into your day without any disruption at all. Yeah. So when we talk about meaningful contributions, we're not saying that you have to go and become president of P1 and over time go a lot of meetings. You don't have to. Yeah. You can achieve a lot just without messing up your routine. So let us look at some of them. One of them is a thoughtful message. And I would even include, I know people forward things, right, and so on. I'm not a forwarder or have a lot of, anyway, let me leave that alone. But yeah, forward, if it's meaningful, that's something that's helpful. So that's even 10 seconds, you know, you get something and you click it and you send it to people. So yeah, that's all right. I'm not going. So you put in information out, it might be helping people. There could be an alert, some danger, all of that. Wonderful. So you can thought, yeah. I would love if we could step it up a little bit. It might take a little bit more time, where the thought is yours, where there is someone who you could share something with that's from you. And you know, I think you might feel better about it if you had thought about it in relation to the person. And it could be a voicemail, it could be a telephone conversation, probably works better as well. No, what's this? Sorry, I don't know. Daily acts of kindness. All right. So one of the things that we're doing at Melrose, we have this Christ Ambassadors program that we're doing at Melrose. Somebody's calling me, and I don't know this person at all. Daily acts of kindness. So now that is one of the things that they have to do. It's just a simple thing. I'm talking about buying coffee here for a stranger. You have to do that. Just leave a note, compliment somebody. Just in the workplace, people can get tense and, focus in the workplace and bustling around. Yeah, I like what you're doing with your hair today, or that's a nice blouse, or I don't know, something that just helps. Or you see somebody struggling with some papers, or they look as if they have a problem with the photocopying machine, jump around and help. I'm just thinking that, set up yourself, that shouldn't be a day pass without you doing something kind, make a difference, right? Here are some other possibilities now, online or face-to-face. You can share your expertise. Something about something that that you can share with people. Yeah. So you don't have to have a big blog or be able to create big fancy videos, but you can do things. You can post, you have a lot of forums that you can actually post things to and help people to better understand something. Yeah. And what you're doing then is not just you are saying, okay, making a contribution, but you can also, you're helping the community at the same time. Yeah. And sharing with others, showing others how they can make a difference in the community. Right now, I'm in Jamaica, so those of you who are offset, I know that there are tons of opportunities to make a difference in this country. Just think about the family life situation, where there are no fathers, many things are, single mother, single person household, and we have lot of stress, lot of dynamics, etc. I'm exposed now, both at church, the people that, young people that we're bringing in, and at Melrose, with reading. There's a catastrophe, there's a crisis in terms of the capacity to read, just simply read. So we have somebody in 6th grade that's going into high school next year, cannot read. And we have something, there's a 14-year-old boy that I am trying to help after service. You can read. I mean, can cut some words, bam, but how, so when we put that kind of illiteracy, because that's the system forces them up, so that, others coming in, so you have to move up, whether you can read or do the thing, you just have to move up. So maybe that is an area. Maybe that's an area where we can say, okay, fine, let's just say some people to read, because that's a fundamental skill. You can't live in 2023 and not be able to read. And every time people talking about digitization, how are you going to ever survive? Yeah. So you could go, the normal thing, you go to the place and just say, I left my glasses and, my eyes not so good. You can't read, can you tell me what it says? That can't work in a world where you have to stay at home and do basic things. So that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity. So some more micro contributions. So there's a place called Career Village, where professionals, people like who know anything about anything, can come together and work with students. Sorry, not a mentorship program. So they help them to identify, okay, if I want to be a doctor, or what kind of skills, what do I need to do in order to be able to get there. So it's not a long amount of time, but it's just giving some examples. So this is my path that I came upon. Here are some things that I learned that might be helpful to you. All right. The other thing would be, this is an interesting one. I just pick up a couple of them. is Be My Eyes, where I remember Sister Smith, and I'm not sure who else used to go, but she used to go up to, they call it blind school, but yeah, I can't find a better word, right? And help the persons who are studying now, for school, read for them, help them to read. So this is an area where you basically lend your eyes to someone who is not sighted. Those are things that are there. I mean, online we have any number of possibilities as to how. And of course, your social media activism, where instead of just forward little things, you could actually talk about things that matter. Yeah, you could share your faith. You could talk about the environment. You could talk about abuse of children. You could talk about different things, racism. So you could actually on your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever it is, make a difference. Those are contributions that you can make. Don't take a lot of time. If you decide to post, one thing you could do is actually like put up your weeks, spend it half an hour, whatever it is, and put together all of the things that you want to post this week or this month. And then when, the day comes, you just click and put it so you don't have to be thinking through it every time. Those are thoughts. Don't know if this is going anywhere for anybody, but those are some of the ideas that I want to put on the table. I just want to show you the breadth of possibilities that are there. Some other meaningful contributions. Again, I will talk about Melrose. And right now, we have a little group, the Christ Ambassadors Program, and one project is that they are going to clean up the space, pick up things in the school compound, not going outside. But of course, that people go on the beach and do all sorts of things. So you can clean up big things, but you could actually just do it in your community, maybe even in your yard, make your home look better, etc. So that's one thing. I know I have a brother that's a church brother that went down into his community and did it. Of course, the next day he's all painted up and so on. But it's a contribution. It makes a difference. Huh? What about this one is cute in terms of just helping your business around you. Buy from like a small shop, or buy somebody that's trying to run a small business. Give them some support. Yeah, so that will grow the economy, help somebody else to grow their wealth, come out of poverty, and then events. I have to laugh because I was outside today and they're having a birthday party, and this lady is trying to fill a little plastic tube pool, and she had to leave, so she's asking me to watch the water. And I'm there standing up watching the water. But okay, so I contributed to that event. Made a contribution today. I didn't volunteer. I was asked to do it. But I'm just saying that some people have things, school do things, community do things here, and you can just help. Okay, fine, I will help string up this, I will help to bring something. Just make yourself available. I'll be at the gate, I will welcome, I will do whatever. Those are contributions that when you see these events happening, it is because volunteers are doing it. Yeah. And so they don't just happen by the way. And why couldn't you be one of them? Yeah. So that's also relaxation, by the way. So you could actually mix leisure with contribution. Here, someone else. Green. One of the things that we have with climate change is that trees, we need some more trees. And so you could actually plant some trees or do some gardening, do stuff like that could help with the environment. Yeah. And of course, that will beautify the things. When people look, they could say, nice. And hear somebody talking about, oh my gosh, that orchid looks so nice. That's moving beyond you. Yeah. So you actually are impacting other lives, right? at my stage, I can't do this, but blood, donating blood is really a powerful way. All right? So it's not every day you're going to do it. Yeah, so maybe once a year, the way you go. Last time I went there, they were very, quick and efficient and so on. So you can actually, spend a couple hours, get it done, and make a huge difference to somebody's life. You could actually save a life. Yeah. And then the good things like just checking on your neighbor. What's happening to you? Yeah. You might have an elderly person that's living alone, living close to you. Or check. Can I help? Can I bring something? Do you need something from the supermarket? I'm here. Can I buy it? But, yeah. Yeah. It's not so hard to do meaningful things then, right? So still more. Teach a skill. Kind of halfway touch this, but it might be right now. And if you are listening and you have this skill, we are trying to run a program. We're not trying, we actually have a program on Saturdays now. We're trying to get these students who are working towards CSEC, etc. So they're in high school. We're trying to help them in English, math, and some of the science subjects and so on. But we need teachers because they're behind. So that's something, again, if you have skills, you could do it. But I remember years ago, I don't know why I got involved, whatever it is, but there are also basic craft things. Yeah. I don't remember the one that I could do. I don't know if it's needlepoint, I don't know what it's named, but it would be like if you have one of these face towel things, you put the thread through, the colored thread through the things in a pattern, and it looks wonderful. I could do that at one point. I don't know what what it's called. But we could actually teach people. Saying there was a program, there was a time when we had it at St. Andrew where we were talking about for people to bring in like young girls to understand things like how to set a table, those kinds of things. Those things are possible still. Plenty possibilities are there for us. And then the books that you have read, we just gave away a ton, a set of books, etc., that you might actually be able to do that. So help with support. And we talk about already helping people with their lessons, etc. Right? Just check over. You might not have to teach fully, but you could actually help them. Let me see your homework. Let me see what you're doing. This used to be a big thing. I'm not sure that people are doing it still. What is a community watch service where you actually neighborhood watch? Those are possibilities as well. Okay, so I've been rambling, and I think I'm at the point now where I am going to turn it over, have question and answers. Let me see the time that I'm in. So in conclusion then, bottom line is that, as you can see, we do have 168 hours and we can choose how we use them. And there are many options. We have discussed them, but of course I haven't covered anywhere near the possibilities that are there. And it's really about mindset. Remember that if we can just understand that it's a choice, how we use our time is a choice. And if we put our values up front, and if we focus our attention on what are priorities for us, then we can make a difference in terms of this contribution that we all want to make. We want to feel that we have fulfilled our purpose. Right? That's the key. That's what I wanted to share. I'm going to leave the time out for questions, for comments. See, what is it that might resonate? What questions you might have? I'm going to ask you to. This is now your Q&A. It's not really the same questions, so I want some input as to what it is that you might think differently about as it relates to time based on our discussion, or what is it that you would like us to share, discuss? What is it that you want to put on the table? Questions, comments, suggestions. Anybody? Okay. So for those of you who came in late, let me just run through. We're saying that we basically have our socialization tell us that time is a constraint. We are actually battling with time, but that's not really true. We do really have a lot more time than we think we do. And so we looked at this whole question of the 168, the 4 regular shifts and a full day job that we have every week. What are we doing with the 4 shifts and the day job? And those are possibilities that we could use them for, right? And so we want to rethink then that it's not a question of that we don't have enough time. It is a question of how are we managing our time. And we looked at people who are really, they seem to have 200 hours per week because of what they achieved. And part of what it is focus and diligence and working to make sure that they maximize the use of their time. Right? You can think of world leaders who have so much passing through. Plus they have the family life and they have the state visits, things that they have to do. So we talked about shifting your mindset then from I don't have enough time to I make time for what matters. I'm going to get done what needs to get done. Right? So instead of seeing time then as a constraint, let us see it as a resource. It's like a pencil, a computer. Yeah, it's like a car. Yeah, we just use the car. Yeah, not wondering whether the car. Yeah, talk about if you have enough car or not. We just saying I need to go here, come, let's go. Right? So we're just looking at that redefinition. And so if we look at time as a tool then, and not as a restriction, not as a constraint in our lives, it's going to make a huge difference. So we can actually make our time count. That's what we're saying. And then we looked at some trigger moments, some things that you want to start with, just limited, little things, just like a morning devotion, moments of gratitude. Right? Brother Andre talked about his prayer that he prays, constant prayer about fulfilling what his purpose for the day and what God's purpose is. Some affirmation, a call, something that's there early in the day to get you in the right place. Right? And then can we reconnect with friends and share scripture, study the scripture, etc. So I want to reframe this whole idea of being busy then and stop talking about I'm too busy and start to talk about the fact that I have control. I choose how I spend my time. And that simple mindset shift is going to should give us the understanding that we are in control of our schedule. We then have agency to make the best use of our 168. And one of the things that we share then is visualization, that start to imagine, one of the things that we unfortunately take away from our children is this daydreaming, this idea of, I'm a cowboy, I'm a this, that's a gift from God. It's something that we should own as adults. Right? I'm not telling you now that people like Malcolm Maltz, who actually do a lot of work in this area, and he called it the theater of the mind, where you have to dream big things. If you want to be like, a wonderful singer on the world stage, see yourself there, with a big heart and you're singing and people are cheering and visualize. You want to be Messi, see yourself, in the World Cup, dreaming. But that's part of what it is. That's what this imagination, this visualization. And I tell you, it works because you remember the big one where the test was done. People go and shoot penalty shots in basketball. So one set went on practice and the other set visualized. There was no difference really in terms of the scores that they were able to achieve. So the visualization makes the mind takes it as real. The more real you make it, the more the mind sees it as happening. And then, of course, you want to align your values, your actions with your values. That's a big part of it. Because when we're looking at long term, as you visualize, as you do more things that are important and less things that are distracting and unimportant, gradually you're going to see that you're making greater and greater contributions. So aligning your actions with your values. So sometimes when we talk about this, people are saying, I live my life, I can't enjoy myself. You know, I can't be just about work and study and whatever. I want to just relax. Yeah. And as I said before, what I want to do is to evaluate you. There's going to be a performance and evaluation related to the hours that you spend in your quote unquote relaxation. Yeah. Is it catch up on a chair with quick neck afterwards and you're in pain? Or did you decide, okay, fine, I want to sleep and you want to set up yourself in a comfortable place? Is it TV, where the TV will watch you? Yeah. So that's your thing? Okay, fine. I'm going to be having 2 hours of TV. What did you watch? Did you enjoy it? No, this program was foolish, but we couldn't bother change the channel. Yeah. I'm not satisfied then. It's a miserable foolishness. They were supposed to give in jokes, but all of the jokes gone. I'm just saying to you, think about a performance appraisal and all the time that you spend. And then you will see that you will use your 168 better. So what are some simple things you can do? Donation. It could be one of them. Yes. You have some clothes in the closet, things you never wear, whatever it is. Yeah. Darkest day, St. Andrew, put it in a bag. Call us, we can't get it. So those are some of the things you can do. So you're making a difference, big difference in somebody's life. Who's going to get it? Those are little things like that. So share a thoughtful message. Yeah. Do an act of kindness. Share your knowledge on, either online, face-to-face. We talk about, remember, we're looking for teachers to help people with their CSEC and the academic studies on Saturday. There, then some online things. Career Village is a place that you can sign up with to say, hey, this is the career that I've had and I can help you if you want to pursue this career. Here are some of the pitfalls, here are some of the things that you need to do. Be My Eyes, right? I remember, as I say, Sister Smith, I don't remember who else used to go there, but you used to go and read for the sight impaired, but blind school, sorry, call it that, to help them with things. But this is a situation where you're lending sight impaired individuals to read, to use your eyes. Maybe they're asking you to look at a picture, describe this to me, what is happening. Yeah. And then, of course, you can be active on social media, not just forward the memes, etc. You could actually be an advocate for preventing child abuse or racism or supporting the environment. Those are things that you could actually do online. Many of these now. Clean up the space, clean up the areas around you, support local businesses, yeah, buy from the liquor man and corner. And then they have events, church events. Be there, help set up the room. Maybe you are the person that welcome people. Do help. Environment, right? We know the problem with global warming. Plant, set up, do things like that. Donate blood, big one. Check on your neighbor. You know, have a shut-in. You want some groceries, you want something. Those are things you can do. Teach a skill, something, whether it is to cook, whether it is to sew, whatever, right? And then again, we talk about donation of books now, stationery, other materials, or just support. Help somebody to read, help somebody to be able to do some homework, etc. And then neighborhood watch is there. That's it. All right. So now, any questions, comments? And done. I would hate to know that I enjoy the time so much and yet still. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your thought-provoking and suggestion. Thank you. Take some action about it. All right, thanks, Ryan. All right. Anybody else? Any questions, comments?
Brother Smith.
Yes, okay. Okay.
I'm not sure if you said it because I stepped away for a little. Or you say take action, and it's important that all of the suggestions that you made here, it's important to pause and assess how you're to kind of track your time. I'm not sure if you said anything about tracking your time to see how we are using the 168 hours for the week or for 2 days, and then after you after you have tracked it for a week or so or a month, then well maybe a week first to see how we are using the time and then make adjustments thereafter. Could you say a little more about that for everyone's benefit?
Okay, man, this is the brightest student I've ever had. Yeah, that is the time tracking, time tracker. This is the most important. If you want to know who you are, all the things that you say that you are, you pray about, etc., it can be manifested if you track what it is that you do for 24 hours. I mean, 24 hours a day or at least a week. All right. So you're not going to write long things, etc., because then you waste time that way. So you want to use some symbols, you know. So for example, if you have a sleep thing, you can put a Z, sleep, whatever. But just track as you go along. What is it that you do? When you went to bed, what time you get up, how long it is for commuting. But here's the thing, the more important part is your waking hours, all right? What happened in your waking hours? What kind of conversations? Did you initiate the conversation or did the person initiate it? What that is telling you, by the way, is how much control you have. If all of the, I don't want to call them interruptions, but all of the incoming connections to you, all of the connections with you is incoming, then it suggests that you have less control over your time than otherwise. If most of it is outgoing, then really and truly you're on top of things, because you are the ones that you could determine I'm not going to reach out, so that you have more control. Now, if you are inundated with incomings, you need to do something, you know. So you're going to look at who are the primary culprits, the primary sources of the incomings, and you know, you could have a conversation. One of the things I talk about is the boss who is blurting, who he's cleaning his inbox. So every time he has something to do, he says, "Come, Trevor, do this. Trevor, do that." Every minute, and so I have to stop every minute to pay attention to that. So the key then would be for me to gather the information from my time log, right, and go to the boss and say to him, "Boss, look at this. You know, I went to this program with this guy who told me to do a time log, and boy, look at this, the amount of hours that we spend, you know. So could we do something about this? Could we keep the things together, and then maybe at 8:30 we have, you know, a brief connection, and then maybe just before lunch, and then before we go home, we have another catching up, so that we can, because when I know what my salary is, and when I work out my salary about the amount of time, this is the amount of time, this is the amount of money the company is paying for our conversation. So those are some of the things. So yeah, the time log, but detail it, and don't wait until the night. Now you're going back and to say, how did I spend the time? You really want to be able to have a quick way to record it as you go along. And if you do it for a week, it's going to tell you a lot. So you see the love that you have for people and your family and all of those things. Just look at the time log and see how much time, you know, you really are spending and how meaningful that time is. with things that you say you care about. Just check that out. Yeah. Thank you, Raquel, because you bring out that some of the stuff that make a huge difference. All right. So time log is where we're going to leave it then. It makes a huge difference if it will tell you basically who you are, because it will tell you how you're spending your time. Yeah. All right. Last word. Anybody? All right.
Brother Smith,
Yes, sir.
I have something, but please don't deal with it because I don't want us to go over the time.
So here it is for them. Go ahead. Is that people don't mind?
Do you find, well, I have found, let me use that. Let me say I have found that there are times when, because we do not, and maybe I'm not using the right word or the right term, but because we don't have proper time management or even as what we just learned here a while ago, to say that I really can't find the time to. Because we don't have the discipline, that's the word, because we don't have the discipline to put these things into practice, or if, to take time to learn some of these things, or to come to a program like this.
Mhm.
Do you find that we oftentimes, put it back on God, say, well, but I pray and I ask and I do whatever. And when in truth and in fact, God gave us the time, but with us not making proper use of it and still waiting on Him to do a better use of the time that He has given us.
Yeah, I hear the question, and I think the obvious answer, whether it is God or not, but we look outside of ourselves, and we tend to feel not now going for me, or I don't know what I'm doing wrong, or things like that. So it's a deflection of what the real issue is, which at its core is a resource. Remember, we're saying the time is a resource, that we have 168 hours of this invaluable resource. What are we doing with it? What are we doing with this? So somebody might say, winning weeks and months or years, I'm waiting for a job, and how many applications I've sent out, and I can't get a job, or the job that I'm in, it's not paying me enough, and I can't make my ends meet. Well, just think about it. This has been going on maybe for 4 years, 5 years, whatever it is that you're in the job that's not paying you, whatever it is. In 4 or 5 years, you could have a master's. I'm saying, or don't have to be that, but you could develop a skill. You could definitely improve yourself significantly by just adding a few hours a day. Yeah. Mark my word, if you invest anything like 2 to 3 hours a week in any pursuit, you're going to become an expert at it. In 5 years, people would never believe how skilled you are in that particular area. Trust me. All right. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. We will identify the next session, which is in January. It's going to be a New Year's session. First Saturday in January, we will be back with our Navigating Life series. I don't know which anniversary it is now. It must be 3 or 4 years that we're doing this. Yeah, for sure. All the very best for this season, this end of year holiday season, whatever we want to call it. And you have a wonderful end of year, and that 2024 will bring many blessings to you. However, before we go to all of that, we'd love to see you on Sunday at our worship service. Remember, the St. Andrew Church of Christ meets at 77 Reddy's Road, and we start at 9 a.m. Let's see if we can find this thing. And also, we have our Bible class immediately after. And I'm going to show you in 1 minute how you can access all of this information online. So we are a tech-savvy church. And so, yeah, the Nav Life recordings are on our website, standardchurchofchrist.org/media, or on YouTube, Simply Christians with the S-J-A, or on Facebook, Simply Christians J-A. Yep. Thanks for your time. We meet at 9 a.m. at 77 Redmond Road. And we have our Bible class afterwards, and our midweek Bible classes on Tuesday using this very same Zoom link. And remember, grief therapy. Brother Andre is doing an excellent job helping people who are going through loss, going through disappointments. Recently, that was the focus. To look at disappointment. How do we deal with disappointments? And he brings his counseling psychologist skills to that process. Thank you and good night.